It was the 1960s, a time of seismic shifts in America. The civil rights movement was shaking the country to its core, demanding justice, equality, and an end to racial oppression. But amidst the protests, the marches, and the fiery speeches, another revolution was taking shape. A cultural explosion that would redefine Black identity, art, and literature. This was the Black Arts Movement. The Black Arts Movement, often called BAM, emerged as the artistic arm of the Black Power movement, fusing radical politics with cultural expression. It was unapologetic, bold, and deeply rooted in the lived experiences of Black Americans. It gave birth to a new wave of poets, playwrights, musicians, and visual artists who sought to reclaim Black narratives from the grips of white-controlled media and institutions. If the civil rights movement was about gaining equality, the Black Arts Movement was about self-definition, an assertion that Black art should be by, for, and about Black people. The movement had its beginnings in 1965, sparked by playwright, poet, and activist Amiri Baraka, formerly known as Leroy Jones. Baraka, a former beat poet, was deeply affected by the assassination of Malcolm X. In response, he moved to Harlem, severed ties with the predominantly white literary world, and founded the Black Arts Repertory Theater School, or BARTS. This institution became a hub for revolutionary Black art, housing radical poetry readings, street performances, and community workshops. But Baraka was not alone. Larry Neal, a poet and critic, became one of the most important voices of BAM, defining it as the aesthetic and spiritual sister of the Black Power concept. He saw art as a means of political liberation. Sonia Sanchez, one of the most influential poets of the movement, infused her work with jazz rhythms and African linguistic traditions, writing in a voice that was unmistakably Black and proud. Gwendolyn Brooks, though already an established poet, fully embraced the movement's ethos, shifting her style to reflect the raw, urgent energy of the era. Other literary giants such as Nikki Giovanni, Haki Madhubuti, formerly known as Don L. Lee, and Etheridge Knight amplified the movement's call for Black consciousness, creating poetry that was rhythmic, uncompromising, and deeply rooted in African heritage. BAM was not just about poetry, it was a multi-dimensional movement that infiltrated every artistic medium. Ed Bullins, a pioneering playwright, crafted radical Black theater, confronting the realities of racism, oppression, and Black urban life in plays like The Electronic Nigger and In the Wine Time. In music, BAM artists took inspiration from the Black jazz scene. The sounds of John Coltrane, Thelonious Monk, and Archie Shepp became sonic extensions of the movement, their improvisational and rebellious spirit mirroring the themes of liberation found in BAM literature. Visual artists like Beatty Sarr, Barclay L. Hendricks, and Faith Ringgold transformed Black identity into powerful images, using painting, sculpture, and mixed media to confront racial stereotypes and celebrate African heritage. The Black Arts Movement was not without its critics. Some accused it of being too militant, too exclusionary, or too focused on separatism. But for those involved, the movement was about survival. It was about creating a space where Black people could see themselves reflected in art, literature, and culture, a space where they could heal, grow, and thrive. The movement's influence extended far beyond the 1960s and 1970s. It laid the groundwork for future generations of Black artists, from hip-hop pioneers like Public Enemy and Tupac Shakur to contemporary writers like Ta-Nehisi Coates and Jesmyn Ward. It also inspired other cultural movements, from the Chicano arts movement to the Native American Renaissance. But perhaps the most enduring legacy of the Black Arts Movement is its insistence on the power of art to transform society. It reminded us that art is not just a reflection of the world but a force that can change it. It showed us that culture is not a luxury, but a necessity, a tool for liberation, a weapon against oppression, and a beacon of hope.